Hi everybody, Dan Illman, Matt Bernier. The DRFBets race of the day for Thursday, March the 28th, race number 8 at Gulfstream Park, kicking off the late 50-cent Pick 4. And you can play the Pick 4 and the entire Gulfstream card with a new DRFBets account. Deposit $50, bet with $200 with DRFBets. Learn more at bets.drf.com. Let's meet the field for the first leg of this 50-cent Pick 4. You can access free formulator pass performances for this mile and a 16th maiden special weight on the turf on the Race of the Day event page at DRF.com. Download them, handicap along with us. We'll take this field of fillies and mares in post-position order, beginning with the number 1, Live Young. Daughter of Smart Strike, sold for a lot of money as a yearling, dismissed at over 50 to 1 for the career debut, and only picked up some tired horses late.
Yeah, I was going to say, not a heck of a lot of running happening there in that debut. And again, keep in mind, that was as a 4-year-old. So it's taken her a while to get to the track. You see the raw numbers for Rusty Arnold, second-time maiden starters, not very good, 0 for 23. Like you say, I needed to see something in that debut to suggest that I'm going to expect a giant move forward here, second time out. And it's also a little bit of a sort of knock against that field as a whole. You've got a couple of horses that have come out of that race, and they both earned low 60 buyers. I'm not so convinced that a low 60 is fast enough to win in here.
A little bit surprised also that this horse debuted on turf. She's a half to cautious giant, a multiple stakes winning dirt sprinter. We'll see if she's ready to go for start number 2. Also surprised that the number 2, Miss Monk, a half to wicked strong, a grade 1 stakes winner going long on the dirt, has never raced on dirt, despite having been to the track 7 times. She's okay on turf. She is stretching out and should show some speed. Timeform US has her up close to the pace, but kind of odd with this pedigree being by Breeders' Cup Classic winner Blame. And I know the Blames do well on turf, that this horse at least wouldn't have gotten one chance to run on dirt and has only had 2 starts around 2 turns.
Yeah, I was going to say, for me, it's even more so about the 2-turn piece, because Wicked Strong, I believe he actually ran in the poker one year, or one of those 1-turn miles at Belmont Park, and he wasn't disgraced. You brought up the Blame piece. You wonder if part of it has to do with the physical issue. You note that most of her training recently has come on the grass, so you wonder if maybe she got some bad feet, something along those lines. But the additional distance, to me, I think she'd want to run all day. Stretching out, I think she's going to be forwardly placed. I'm going to be curious to see how things actually shake down. I know Timeform has the 9 clearing. I would be a little bit surprised if, given that it's not a short run into the first turn at this distance, but I'd imagine your speed nearest the rail, I don't think you want to give that up.
Lasix on for the number 3, Smirkotch, who seems to be improving with each and every start. She is an Arkansas bred with a little bit of pedigree. A half to Glacken's Ghost, a stakes winner on the dirt. A half to Pepperoni, who is stakes placed going long on synth. So a versatile pedigree, getting Lasix in good form, but taking that big step up from the maiden claiming ranks to the special weights.
You know, I usually like this move. I think it's a confident move. You see that the owner is also the trainer of this one. I like the fact that she actually finished with a little bit of interest in that last run, that final quarter mile, sub 24 seconds. For this level, that's nothing to sneeze at. Now you get Lasix. I'm not convinced that she's necessarily fast enough to win, but underneath, I think she can get a piece at a big number.
Matcha, the number 4, a $110,000 2-year-old in training purchase, did not make her career debut until last month. And she was a 4-year-old when she made her debut, and she debuted for 35, and she ran okay. The winner of that race, Chilled Milk, came back to win. A Florida-bred non-winners of one other than with a 79 buyer. Another horse has come out of that race to win as well, and John Kimmel is saying, listen, I don't want to lose her. I'm throwing her up into the maiden special weight.
Well, and like you say, you also had that other winner who was a 7th place finisher that day, came back and earned a 60 in her next start. So at least the form seems to be reasonable. Again, I think you're going to need a little bit more than a low to mid 60 buyer, but at the same time, for that being her career debut, I don't think there's any reason to believe that she can't take a legitimate step forward here. But you brought it up. It is worth noting you're going from the claiming level up into the protected level now.
A couple of ways to look at the number 5, Gentle Ruler, your 5 to 2 morning line favorite. One is to simply look at that career box, say she's already had 11 tries, she's exposed, and she might be on her way to being a career maiden. The other way to look at it is, last time out, she was odds on against a horse, the runner-up, who's come back to win 3 races in a row with buyers of 74, 85, and 84, and that she ran on soft turf that day, and her 2 poor races on her form have come on less than firm ground. You take that race out of the equation, you got the 79 buyer on firm turf at Keeneland that makes her clearly the horse to beat.
And she's run relatively well fresh off the bench in the past. Now, my concern is kind of what you alluded to at the top. Even with horses that look like they lay over the field figure-wise based on what anyone else has earned to date, from a versatility standpoint, whatever it may be, when you're 0 for 11 and 8 times you've run second or third, it just makes me wonder a little bit, even if you've been facing better horses, do you have the will to get over the hump, the will to get there and get it done at a shortish price? I believe she's 5-2 on the morning line. I wouldn't touch her with a 10-foot pole at that price. If she for some reason floated up into the mid-single digits, 5, 6 to 1, maybe I'd be more enticed. But as is, I don't like her.
The number 6 is Tappin' Through Life, and we're getting to the point where pedigree isn't going to mean too much for this one. She's 5 years old. She is by Tappin. Her dam was a graded stakes winner on the turf, but she's 5 years old, and I really didn't love the field she was up against last time out at Gulfstream. I realized she was far, far back, but that's been the story of her career. She has yet to figure out the starting gate. She ends up way behind the 8 ball, and while she usually comes with a little bit of a run, it's too little too late. I'm just not sure how much I trust her, although I guess 5, 6 to 1 on these connections with her form is fair enough.
She also comes out of that race to the filly down on the rail exits, and like I said, you had 2 horses come back and they earned low 60 buyers. I think she's going to need to move forward here. You note that she has earned 2 70s in her career, both of them off of, well, one of them was her career debut, another one came off of a little bit of a layoff, so at least sort of the freshness piece is not going to be much of an issue. But I'm with you. She's 5 years old. She's 0 for 7. She's only hit the board once. She's a confirmed 1-run closer. If the pace doesn't heat up, I don't know if she's going to have enough really to go and run down whoever is out there at the 8th pole. I just don't want her at a short price. Like you say, though, if you get into the sort of mid-high single digits, maybe she's more intriguing.
The number 7 is Mohegan. This is a half-sister to Coldplay, a graded stakes winner going long on the dirt, and yet this one is yet to try the dirt. She is by turf champion English Channel, however, and I think with a better trip last time out, she could have been second. She got the inside positioning on the far turn, eased out. It looked like she had a run. She altered course back to the rail. She altered course back outside. She was running at the end of the race. I like the fact that the buyers are creeping forward, and I think she has a little bit more tactical speed than she's shown thus far. Also, like the rider switch to John Velasquez, I think this filly's a contender.
Agreed. I think second off the bench, she takes a step forward here. The run 2 starts back. I know Beyer has it a little bit lighter, but Timeform US, she earned a raw 99. That's good enough to get it done in a spot like this, or at least be a major player. Admittedly, I don't love the field that she ran against 2 starts back. She was 43 to 1 that day, but I agree with you. You look at that most recent run, highest last out Beyer, highest last out raw Timeform rating, second off the bench for Mats. Now you get Johnny V. There's a lot, I think, going in her favor. A lot of reasons to point to her as a primetime contender.
X factor in this race is the number 8 Saphira. What a beautiful pedigree. She's by Street Cry. Her dam won the Canadian International. She was a nice horse, Sarah Lynx. This filly is already a half to a stakes place turf router in France. She's only run twice in her career overseas and is going to have to do it off of a long layoff, but she's now in the hands of the great Bill Mott. And we have a formulator fact. Over the past 4 years with horses aged 4 and up, making their first start in the United States, adding Lasix, first start for Mott, obviously, off a 6-month or greater layoff in turf routes, 27% winners, a 247 ROI. At least one horse came back to win from that most recent effort. Listen, she doesn't have to be the next All Along or Tepin to win this race.
No, and I guess that's the thing. That's the real argument that I would be making for her to anyone, is that you don't need to be a superstar in order to get the job done in this spot. On the flip side, the reason that I would be a little bit concerned, you brought up the dam and what she really excelled at, longer distance racing. You take a look, they ran her at 1.25 miles in her first 2 lifetime starts, and she's been gone since the end of September. At 1 1/16, it makes me wonder if this is basically just shaking the rust off, getting a run into her. If she shows up with a nice late bid, the connections will be very happy. And eventually, whether it's at Belmont or it's somewhere else, you can get her out to 1 1/8, 1 3/16, 1.25 miles. That would be my only thing that I'd be concerned about.
Let's take a look at our top selection for Thursday's DRFBets race of the day. We're going with the Samson Farm Homebred, the 9 Strike It Royal, stretching out in her first start since October. Not really worried about the distance. This is a full to Cleopatra's Strike, grade 2 placed on the turf, and I liked this horse's race last time out, going 6 furlongs at Woodbine. She was ridden very confidently turning into the stretch, and it took the favorite to run her down late. The 2 Buyers speed figures she earned as a 2-year-old, I think if she could build slightly off of those numbers, she's right there. And again, as we saw, Timeform US has her on the lead. Whether she's on the lead, which I'll take gladly, or sitting second, I think she's going to be in a very good spot when the real running begins.
And really, it boils down to, for me anyway, with these kind of races where you have a number of horses that feel like just losers, like they like to go out and lose races. I hate to say it as bluntly as that. I want to have a horse that's either going to be on the lead or close to it and taking over from a horse that I don't know if this is actually going to be what they want to do. So if the 2 decides to go out there and set the pace, I think Strike It Royal sits just off. If the 2 doesn't want it, I think Hernandez can go on with it with the 9 horse breaking from the outside. I agree with you. The distance shouldn't be an issue. Those first 2 figures, whether they're time form or Buyer, they're both competitive in here. Any forward move here, I just think she makes a lot of sense.
9-7 for me, kicking off the 50-cent pick 4. Give me numbers.
9, 7, 8, 5.
Nice race for Thursday's DRFBets race of the day. It's the 8th at Gulfstream Park. Remember to play it with a DRFBets account. Deposit 50, bet with 200 at bets.drf.com. Approximate post time for race number 8 at Gulfstream on Thursday is 4:46 Eastern. Best of luck.